Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. On this week's program, as fall begins, our thoughts turn to harvest and cooler temperatures. Mike Newland with the Propane Education Research Council will talk about what to expect for propane supplies this fall and winter, even some of the new tools they have available for weed control, irrigation, and even a cost calculator app. We'll also have features from Kansas Corn, Kansas Wheat, and the Kansas Farm Bureau, and our weekly updates from the Kansas Livestock Association and market information from Pinion. Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Kansas Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farm and ranch families since 1919. KFB.org. And the Kansas Wheat Commission, lending in the adoption of profitable innovations from wheat. Online at kswheat.com. In agricultural news from agview.net, EPA has announced the interim decision for Atrazine, marking the end of the registration review process and clearing the way for continued use of a key herbicide for Kansas farmers. The Kansas Corn Growers Association, a founding member of the Atrazine network, that is a coalition of organizations from a variety of crops across the nation that advocates for science-based regulatory decisions for the Atrazine herbicides. Corn Grower CEO Greg Krisick said the announcement is a positive step forward for Atrazine. That's a product that provides needed weed control and is a valued tool in conservation tillage practices like no-till farming. The registration review has been underway since 2013, and this decision is a positive outcome for growers. Atrazine ranks second in widely used herbicides that help farmers control weeds that rob crops of water and nutrients. Utilized for over 60 years, Atrazine is the most researched herbicide in history and has proven safety record. The announcement concludes the registration review process where EPA is required to periodically reevaluate existing pesticides under the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act, or FIFRA. The next step for the triazines is a draft biological evaluation that's required under the Endangered Species Act, which is expected to be published sometime in October. Well, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration has extended the hours of service waiver through the end of 2020 for livestock haulers. That's in response to the nationwide coronavirus pandemic. The exemption was due to expire mid-September, but then was extended through December 31st. Livestock feed haulers also are included in this extension, but only those that are transporting a finished feed product. If you're hauling feed ingredients, are then eligible for the waiver. So drivers wishing to haul under this exemption should probably print and keep in their cab a copy of the expanded emergency declaration. And in case you missed it, USDA will use $14 billion in available Commodity Credit Corporation funds to provide CFAP2 payments to farmers and ranchers for COVID-19 relief. This funding would also provide an additional shot to the Farmers to Families Food Box program. Now, sign up for CFAP2 is open, and it goes through December 11th of this year. Now, payments will be based on 2020 planted acres, excluding prevented planting and experimental acres. Now, payments will be equal to the greater of the eligible acres multiplied by a payment rate of $15 an acre, or the eligible acres multiplied by a nationwide crop marketing percentage, then multiplied by a crop-specific payment rate, then by the producer's weighted 2020 actual production history, or APH. You can find out more on these and other ag news at agview.net. Stay with us, more coming up. Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by the Kansas Livestock Association, supporting members' business interests and meeting consumer demands. KLA.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. And Kansas Corn, building the future at kansascorn.com.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
And joining us now is Mike Newland, who is the Director for Ag Business Development with the Propane Education Research Council. We know him as PERC. Hi, Mike.
How are you today?
Well, doing well. Normally this time of the year, we catch up with you at one of the farm shows, but, you know, with everything that 2020 has brought, we have to do it this way. But there's a lot of information that farmers need to know going into the fall harvest season, and so that's why we wanted to talk with you about a couple of things. And you all have been very innovative when it comes to finding applications that work so farmers can meet some of their needs. And one of those is a cost calculator to find what is the best, maybe propane powered engine. What are the best things to do when it comes to irrigation, and maybe could they make the switch to propane?
Absolutely. So depending on where you are in the country, a lot of folks don't think propane when you start to set up a pivot or are looking to upgrade a pivot. So we actually have a cost calculator, as you mentioned, on propane.com on our irrigation page. It walks you through the benefits and allows you to compare propane to other fuels or other power sources that folks tend to look at for irrigation needs. So we think propane is a much better solution. We encourage folks to go to propane.com, the irrigation page, take advantage of that cost calculator, take a look at propane if you're setting up a new pivot or looking to replace and upgrade an existing pivot.
Mike, also we talk about irrigation season, which is a precursor to harvest season. And who knows what the rest of this year is going to bring with harvest, but we may see probably opportunities for grain dryers. You also have been working with some of those tools to be the most efficient when it comes to drying our fall crops.
Absolutely. We developed a new calculator this year, grain drying calculator. It's on our grain drying page on propane.com. And just need 3 simple inputs from the grower. It'll give you a quick calculation on your gallons used. So we're looking for corn acres, your average expected yield on those acres, and then how many points of moisture you're going to dry from the combine to the bin before you put that in the bin. So you'll get a gallon estimate for your needs. And what we're really hoping to do is spur a conversation between the farmer and then their propane supplier. You know, we think we built that tool really to be a conversation and a planning tool. And we think it's a great starter for every year. We want folks to go back every year, do the calculation, take that information, and have a planning session with your propane supplier. We think communication is really the key step, and we want to make sure everybody's taking advantage of that.
So we've talked about some of the tools that are available and the apps to become more efficient. And probably the number one question on folks' mind is, where are we at when it comes to supply of propane? So we're going to take a break. Mike Newland with PERC, Propane Education Research Council, is joining us. We'll answer that question and more in just a moment. The Kansas Ag Report brought to you in part by Kansas Grain Sorghum, growers working together. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com, and agview.net, serving the Beef Belt and Western Corn Belt with reliable and relevant agriculture information. agview.net.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics. But how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
And joining us this week is Mike Newland with Propane Education Research Council. He is the Director of Ag Business Development. And Mike, as we went to break, I think most farmers were saying, well, just answer the question that we all want to know, and that is, will 2020 be like the last couple of years, or where are we when it comes to supplies of propane?
Yeah, supply, great question, and everybody is asking that question. Supplies are really good. Supply of propane, we've got bigger supply than we've had the last couple of years going into fall. We track it, weekly, and I'll have a lot of conversations on a daily basis about where we are on supply. You know, grain drying is a big variable within the propane sector. Some years you need a lot, some years you don't. So that's the one variable. You know, I think one of the tools we helped our industry with, we built out a grain drying demand model. So now PERC has the ability to look at all USDA crop districts across the Corn Belt and look at corn moisture. So everybody within the propane industry has the visibility to that model. And that's been a big tool and benefit for us internally as we look at grain drying and how the year could shake out. We've got a 20-year data set, so we can look at 2020 and compare that back to everything in the year last 20 years and kind of see where we're at, and gives us a little bit of extra planning time.
Sure. Well, and that's, I guess the other question is, if farmers are saying, well, if we have a big supply, what about pricing? Will we see a break there, or what do we know? Is it too kind of early to tell? Is it becoming almost too fluid, pun intended, to know kind of where we might see as we look if farmers say didn't get a lot of that pre-priced?
Yeah, I think it is a little too early to tell. And I think the one big variable in the Corn Belt is Iowa right now. We had a lot of damage in Iowa. We're taking a hard look at what that crop's going to do from a maturing standpoint, how many of the acres are actually going to get harvested that were damaged. So those are the things I look at on a daily basis and try to stay as up to date as I can from the information coming out of Iowa. So I think it'll be something that evolves over the season. You know, my best advice is stay close to your propane supplier, make sure you're talking and having those conversations.
Well, Mike, as we kind of bring all this together, we've talked about a lot of different things, but I understand you have an incentive program if farmers want to take a hard look and maybe make some adjustments and switch some of that equipment to propane.
Absolutely. So if you're taking a look at propane powered equipment, and we really hope that you do, we touch a lot of segments in agriculture with the available options. Also go to propane.com, take a look at our propane farm incentive program. It's a program we've ran for a number of years now. We offer incentives right to the grower for irrigation engines, building heat, water heat, some weed flaming technology that we've not talked about, but we've got a lot of options. So if you're looking at propane powered equipment around the farm, make propane.com and the farm incentive a first stop for your planning.
Well, Mike, we appreciate the update and all the things going on. We wish everybody a great harvest season.
Absolutely. Hope everybody stays safe out there and has a successful fall.
Mike Newland, who is Director of Ag Business Development for the Propane Education Research Council. That's PERC. Stay with us. We'll have more coming up.
Grain sorghum is one of the most important cereal crops worldwide, and Kansas leads the nation in its production. Over the years, sorghum has been either exported, used in animal feed domestically, or for other industrial uses. Recently, its use in the ethanol market has seen tremendous growth, with 30% of domestic sorghum typically going to ethanol production. Kansas Grain Sorghum is committed to sorghum research, market development, and education. Learn more at ksgrainsorghum.org.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, But how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
The last several months, or heck, you could say last several years, there's been a lot of ups and downs with respect to ethanol, lots of court cases playing out, and just having a lot of ugly fights in public. And I'm really pleased to announce Representative Bustos from the state of Illinois introduced what's called the Next Generation Fuels Act of 2020, and it really is that positive piece moving forward. What this Fuels Act would do was it really sets the stage for our automakers to start optimizing engines they produce to run on higher octane fuel blends that could contain up to 30% ethanol. Qualify for this, fuels have to have a greenhouse gas reduction of at least 30%, and then it also limits the amount of harmful aromatics and unleaded gasoline. So we really see this as the first step in many. Going to be a lot of back and forth with our different partners with petroleum, even the ethanol and the auto industries there. But as far as moving forward to really increase ethanol usage, corn demand, and provide a cheaper, cleaner fuel for consumers, we're really excited about the prospects of this. So stay tuned on kscorn.com, where we have ethanol page, and you can access several different informational pieces that myself and others have authored on this.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
In recent years, wheat producers are faced with an increasing number of varieties from which to choose. Producers can use different tools and publications to study each variety's strengths and weaknesses, selecting varieties that best match their needs. Regardless of whether you intend to plant one variety or several on your farm, it is important to start out with a list of several good candidate varieties. The final product of interest is grain yield, and therefore it's crucial to select varieties that have shown consistent performance and excellent yield record in your region. Make sure and check yield results from nearby K-State and other universities' variety performance tests and demonstration plots. After selecting several varieties that have shown good adaptability and stability in your region, the list needs to be narrowed down to the number of varieties you intend to plant. Ideally, at least 2 or 3 varieties should be planted to spread the risk on your acres. Select varieties that are adapted and resistant or tolerant to the major concerns in your region, but that have contrasting characteristics, such as different maturities or disease resistance characteristics. This will help buffer the risk of a single event compromising production of the whole operation and can help spreading out harvest dates so not all varieties are ready at the same time. Some factors to consider include your production system, the variety's tolerance to abiotic factors, disease resistance, and maturity. Links to many K-State and other resources are available at kswheat.com.
When your college career begins, you'll have the opportunity to build upon your skills. One of those opportunities could be joining a collegiate Farm Bureau chapter. With programs at 19, 2, and 4-year schools around the state, you can't go far without the possibility of joining a chapter. They provide opportunities to meet new friends and mentors, build leadership skills, and experience statewide events and gain eligibility for scholarships. Want to learn more? Visit www.kfb.org/collegiate.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and LibertyLink that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
Access to high-speed broadband services creates new jobs, expands markets for new and existing businesses.
We work with Blue Valley here at the Livestock Corporation for our broadband, and our phones are through the internet system, as well as all of our communication amongst buildings. Even here in my department, we use this broadband for me sending a file from my computer out into the printers because we do all of our printing here in-house. Things have changed dramatically since we've gotten broadband. Things are 4 or 5 times faster than what they would have been. Something that I might have had to make a phone call for, drive physically to another city, or mail a flash drive, what I can now send via WeTransfer or some other site online. So it makes things instantaneous versus 2 or 3 days for a transaction.
Learn more at kfb.org/connectingkansas.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
No one plans to get sick or injured, but when life happens, it's important you and your family are protected. Kansas Farm Bureau health plans are there to provide continued health care coverage to meet your needs. Choose from a broad range of individual and family plans. And if you're over 65, we have options for you too. Learn more at kfbhealthplans.com or contact a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent near you.
Youth have entered 1,889 animals in the 88th Kansas Junior Livestock Show, which will take place October 2nd through the 4th at the Kansas State Fairgrounds in Hutchinson. A total of 784 exhibitors from 95 counties have entered 135 market steers, 368 breeding heifers, 228 market hogs, 260 breeding gilts, 280 market lambs, 277 breeding ewes, 175 market goats, and 176 commercial does. This event is the largest youth show in the state. KJLS will award several scholarships to exhibitors who have excelled academically, in community service, and 4-H and FFA. This is the 28th year for the scholarship program, which has awarded a total of $472,900 to 337 KJLS exhibitors since 1993. Last year, a total of $22,000 was presented to 14 individuals. In conjunction with KJLS, the Kansas Livestock Foundation Club Calf Show and Sale will take place October 3rd at the State Fairgrounds. Steer and heifer prospects will be sold with commission proceeds from the sale going toward KLF Youth and Agriculture scholarships. For more information about the sale, go to the Events and Meetings page on KLA.org. KLA and Kansas State University are major sponsors of the show, along with Cargill, Merck Animal Health, Seaboard Foods, American Ag Credit, Kansas Farm Bureau and Farm Bureau Financial Services, the Kansas Department of Agriculture, and Friends of KJLS.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn. For livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population, the farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Many seed companies claim to offer the latest genetics, but how many have tested those genetics in soils just like yours? The Oldie Seed Know to Grow research program has fully tested the latest seed genetics in soils that are right in your neighborhood. The Oldie Seed Know to Grow program can recommend the best performing hybrids from technologies like Enlist, Extend, and Liberty Link that will optimize the yield and profit of every acre on your farm. Contact Oldie Seed today.
What if U.S. soybean meal were more than a commodity? If seed companies and the soybean checkoff built a better variety? That future is here. The time is now. To meet end-user demands, the soybean checkoff is investing in the compositional quality of soybeans, including meal. A message from the Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Good morning, I'm Darren Van Vactor with Pinion, a division of Keiko Isom. Wow, after a mostly lackluster year, the grain markets, specifically beans, have been on fire. Beans have broken all daily chart resistance levels, a lot of weekly levels, and they pushed through and closed above $10 for the first time in over 2 years. Weather concerns and consistent exports with an emphasis on Chinese buyers have really gotten folks excited. The funds included as their net long position near 200,000 on the week. Corn has continued to grind higher following beans. While corn does not have near the bullish story as beans, we'll take a win when we can get one. Corn is pressuring some major resistance levels on the week and seems content to grind sideways to higher. Old crop KC wheat, lacking a major story of its own, has hung in around between the 100-day and 200-day moving averages for the last several weeks. New crop 2021 KC wheat has been about a dime on both sides of $5. Similarly, range-bound itself. Over the last 30 days, fall crop futures have conveniently pushed to the highest levels since the crop was planted this spring, and basis levels have remained somewhat firm. As a producer, we also now have a better idea of what production looks like. Prior to heading to the fields, it's prudent to take a good hard look at the bottom line. You're going to get very, very busy, and you likely don't want to miss out on an opportunity. If you want some help, give us a call here at Pinion, 888-452-8751. I'm Darren Van Vactor. Be safe and have a great week.
Well, that's our show this week. Be sure to be social with us online at KansasAgReport.net or on Facebook at Kansas Ag Report Television Show or Twitter at Kansas Ag Report. I'm Ken Rogers. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.